Okay, so the last one for 2.4 is putting the laws together. So you're still trying to figure out what information you can conclude, but now instead of being given 2 statements, you're going to be given 3. So this is example 1. So I am not sure how to say that word. I'm going to say Accra, and if that's not right, you can make fun of me later. But your 3 given statements. If you live in Accra, then you live in Ghana. Second, if you live in Ghana, then you live in Africa. Third, Alyssa lives in Accra. Okay? So we want to focus on 2 statements at a time. So let's focus on the first 2. So the first 2, if you notice, they are both if-then statements. So the law that we need to use is law of syllogism. So remember, with law of syllogism, we're going to highlight our if-then statements. So if you live in Accra is 1, then you live in Ghana. Okay, you live in Ghana we've already used. Then you live in Africa we have not. Okay, so remember with law of syllogism that this middle stuff needs to be the same. Okay, notice in this case it is the same. So that means that we can use that law of syllogism and make a conclusion. So our conclusion is, if you live in Accra, then you live in Africa. Okay, so now that we've broken it down, those 2 statements into one, we're going to bring down our third statement. So that yellow square is now one sentence that says, if you live in Accra, then you live in Africa. So now we brought down Alyssa lives in Accra. Okay, so if you notice for this second one down here, we have an if-then statement and then just a normal statement. So to make a conclusion here, we need to use the law of detachment. So remember, the law of detachment says that your hypothesis needs to match your statement. Okay, if you live in Accra and Alyssa lives in Accra, since those are the same thing, then you can make a conclusion about Alyssa. And that conclusion is going to be Alyssa lives in Africa. Okay, and that would be your final answer. Alright, let's check out example 2. Make sure that you pause this and do this on your own. Okay, you have 3 statements again. That's how you know you're going to use 2 laws. So the first statement, if a river is more than 4,000 miles long, then it is longer than the Amazon. Statement 2, if a river is longer than the Amazon, then it is the longest river in the world. Statement 3, the Nile is 4,132 miles long. Alright, so again, we're going to focus on 2 sentences at a time. Look at our first 2. Okay, you are comparing 2 if-then statements. So that means that you need to use law of syllogism. So if a river is more than 4,000 miles long, so I'm going to identify it with the different colors, the hypothesis and conclusion with different colors, I should say, then it is longer than the Amazon. Alright, next statement, if a river is longer than the Amazon, okay, that matches up, then it is the longest river in the world. So law of syllogism, this middle stuff needs to be the same. In this case it is. So that means that we can mark all that out, and when we do, we have a new statement that combines those. It says if a river is more than 4,000 miles long, then it is the longest river in the world. So now that we use law of syllogism, we're going to bring down that third statement that says the Nile is 4,132 miles long. So now we compare the hypothesis with the statement. So if a river is more than 4,000 miles long, well, it says the Nile is 4,132 miles long. Now, if you look at this, the words are not the same. Think about what it means though. More than 4,000 miles. Is 4132 more than 4,000? Yes, it is, okay? So since that is true, that means that we can make a conclusion. So our conclusion is going to be the Nile is the longest river in the world. Okay? And then you're done. So this was video 3 for section 2.4. If you need to, go back and watch some. If not, this is the last of your videos for today. Adios.